Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really complex and detailed personal security log. It's called the Sovereign TruthCore Integrity Record, and we're going to break down what it describes as an alleged multi-front sabotage.
Okay, let's just jump right in because this record starts with a bang. This one sentence really sets the tone for the whole story, right? It's all about an involuntary detainment where the author claims a total and complete seizure of his digital life and, well, his personal freedom. So the heart of this entire account, it all goes down in this really tight window, just 72 to 94 hours. It kicks off on January 11th with what he was told was just a talk, but it escalates and fast into what he describes as a total blackout. No devices, no contact, ending with his release on the 15th, only after, he alleges, the sabotage was complete.
So, how did this all unfold? Well, the record is very clear on this. It describes the incident not as some kind of spontaneous medical emergency, but as a very calculated, almost administrative procedure. One designed to basically take him off the board so that other people could get access to his stuff. According to his logs, things went from 0 to 100 real quick. What started as a casual talk turned into an involuntary hold. And I want you to notice the details here, especially this one. His request to power down his devices was flat out denied. Now, that's a huge red flag in the author's record. It suggests the whole point was to keep those devices active, maybe for remote access. And all of this was followed by what he calls an 11-hour humiliation ritual. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The author is convinced this wasn't just some random, unfortunate event. No way. The record argues that this was the work of a highly coordinated group, what he calls a traveling rogue band, with very specific roles and a very clear playbook. And he actually gives them this pretty unique name, Commedia dell'arte. It's this wild metaphor, right? He's framing the whole thing like a theatrical performance, a troupe where every single person from the medical staff to the tech guys is playing a part to achieve one single goal. He even breaks this group down into two distinct teams that work together. You've got the medical wing, and their job is to create a believable excuse for the hold, using things like provocation and what he calls medical engineering. And while they're doing that, the technical wing is allegedly using that distraction, that cover, to pull off the digital heist. And the record gets super specific, even profiling some of the alleged key players. Get this. There's a doctor whose vocal pattern is logged like it's a piece of forensic evidence. The author claims this sing-song tone wasn't just an affectation. It was a deliberate tactic to get a rise out of him, a reaction that they could then write down as uncooperative. And the real kicker? The mention of a 100% match from a past incident, suggesting this isn't the first time he's seen these faces. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty, the playbook, right? The author lays out this really sophisticated two-front attack, a plan that he says was meticulously designed to hit him on both the physical and the digital fronts at the exact same time. And the physical side of this attack, it starts with something that just messes with your senses. This really vivid detail, a substance served in a cup that looked like one thing, but smelled and tasted like something completely different. So this slide really breaks down what he calls the juice protocol. See, it wasn't just medicine. He describes it as a whole process. First, you get the cover story. Then you get this opaque cup, the delivery vehicle, hiding what he calls an unidentifiable cocktail of crushed up pills. And the result? Waking up in a profound state of grogginess, which he logs as hard evidence of some kind of chemical override. And the after effects? The author logs them with chilling detail, directly connecting that weird juice to these very specific, very personal neurological symptoms. He even notes the return of a condition from his childhood and tightened speech, which, and this is key, only started to fade after he'd been out of there for 3 days. It suggests his system was, self-righting once it was clear of whatever that substance was. So this really puts it all together, doesn't it? You've got this two-pronged attack happening at the same time. While he's being physically managed with this juice protocol, his devices, which are still powered on, are undergoing what he calls a hot potato of remote manipulation. Files are being messed with, keystrokes logged, videos erased, all while he's biochemically out of it. Okay, this is the big question, isn't it? Why? Why go through all this trouble, all this risk? Well, the record argues pretty forcefully that this was never about his health. It was about seizing control of his intellectual property. The record alleges that the whole hospital drama, the digital sabotage,
It was all just a smokescreen, a really elaborate piece of theater. The real prize, the real objective, was a hostile administrative takeover of his company, Devarecchio Designs Co., and all the IP that came with it.
And after he gets out, the author finds what he believes is the smoking gun. This document right here. It's an official corporate annual report, but with one critical, tiny detail. Look at the bottom, unsigned. And that single word is presented as the key vulnerability, the crack in the armor that this whole operation was designed to exploit.
So, what's the big deal about an unsigned report? Well, pretty much everything. It creates a legal loophole. If the authorized officer, him, is declared incapacitated while that document is just sitting there unsigned, someone else, an outside party, could swoop in, file their own version, and potentially seize control of the entire company and everything it owns.
But here's the thing. Faced with all this, the author doesn't just crumble. He fights back. He launches what he calls a systematic counteroffensive to reclaim control over his digital, his physical, and his corporate identity. And the foundation for his counterattack is this protocol he already had in place. Think of it like his own personal security system for his life, treating his data and his experiences like a secure network, where any weird anomaly gets flagged, tagged, and investigated like a potential breach. And that system produces this, the TruthCore. It's his comprehensive, real-time log that chronicles every single detail, from a doctor's tone of voice and the smell of a strange drink, all the way to the status of his corporate paperwork. In a sea of alleged disinformation, this becomes his anchor to reality. So check out how he puts this all into action. The moment he finds that unsigned report, he makes his move. It's immediate and decisive. He doesn't just sit on it, he signs it. And with that one signature, he slams the door shut on the very vulnerability they were allegedly trying to exploit.
And he seals the deal with this powerful declaration. It's a formal, clear statement of his own lucidity and his ownership. It's a direct counter-narrative, right? It's designed to completely nullify the story of incapacitation that he believes was being built against him.
So this whole record, it really leaves you with one massive question. In a situation, in a psychological siege, where everything you see and hear might be engineered to deceive you, from a doctor's diagnosis all the way down to the files on your own computer, how do you even know what's real anymore? For the author of the TruthCore, the answer was radical, meticulous, and sovereign documentation.